All right, so today we're diving into a field that's more than just,
Right.
sawdust and those safety goggles.
Absolutely.
We're talking about wood factory management.
We're going deep on
Mm.
a career that's got like this really cool mix of you got to know the hands-on stuff,
Right.
but you're also up in that strategic thinking level. And
Exactly.
we've got some awesome resources from RoleCatcher's career library to like guide us through this.
That's right, yeah, because they go into they go beyond just like, here's what they talk about how you even get into a job like this, what it takes to actually be good at it.
Yeah.
So it's for the learner, which I appreciate.
Absolutely. And it's something I think we both found pretty interesting as we were prepping for this. Like,
Yeah.
this is...
It's more than meets the eye at first glance, I think.
It is.
So RoleCatcher, they use this phrase, they say wood factory managers are overseeing this like fascinating mix of planning, commercial, and even advisory tasks.
Right. And it uses the word smooth functioning,
Okay.
which I thought was kind of interesting, right? Like it's one thing to know how to, work with the wood, but to make the entire operation run smoothly,
It's a whole other ball game.
it's a whole other ball game.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
And then they even get into this idea of adhering to quality standards, which again, like at every step of the way.
Especially with wood, right?
Yeah.
Because you're dealing with a natural material, there's so much variation.
Oh, that's true. I hadn't even thought about that.
Every piece is different.
Right. Not like plastic pellets or something. Yeah.
Exactly. So maintaining that consistency of quality, that's huge.
It's huge. Yeah. So if you were the wood factory manager,
Yeah.
what does that even look like day to day? I'm kind of picturing, I don't know, little office, wood samples, maybe a motivational poster.
You might start your day there, right? Looking at production schedules, maybe analyzing some market trends, having a meeting with your team, your management team.
Okay, so pretty standard office-y stuff.
Yeah. But then you're out on the factory floor, right? And the air is buzzing, there's activity everywhere.
Oh, wow. So it's both.
You're monitoring those production lines.
Okay.
You're troubleshooting issues as they come up, because believe me, they come up.
Oh, I bet.
And you're also, like the safety captain, right, making sure that everyone is adhering to those protocols, because safety is paramount, obviously.
So it's like you need to be comfortable in a business meeting, but also with a hard hat on, like actually out there.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher even mentions sometimes you're on the road, you're traveling, visiting suppliers, you're inspecting lumber yards.
So you're really out there. You're not just stuck in one place.
No, it's not a desk job in the traditional sense.
That's interesting.
It's very, very dynamic.
Especially, I was thinking, like, with everything that's happened the last couple of years, supply chain stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, you really need to know where your materials are coming from.
Huge part of the job now, more than ever.
Right. And RoleCatcher even highlighted, they had a whole section on certifications. And one of them,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you remember this, the Certified Supply Chain Professional, the CSCP.
Yes, the CSCP.
Yep.
Like, that's not something I would have thought of
It speaks to, like,
for this field.
how much more complex this is, right?
Yeah.
It's not just wood anymore. It's a global industry now.
Right. It's connected to everything else.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
it's like you need to understand global events, the economy.
Oh, yeah, politics even.
Like that could impact how many 2x4s you're putting out.
Absolutely.
It's wild.
And, that actually ties into something else I thought was really interesting about just the forces that are shaping this industry.
Okay, yeah, RoleCatcher mentioned this. That are beyond just the factory.
Right.
Because you might think, okay, wood, that's pretty traditional. But technology.
Okay, yeah, they said technology's changing things.
Technology is revolutionizing things.
What did they say?
Well, they were talking about how factories are using CAD/CAM systems.
Is that like computer something?
Computer-aided design and computer-aided manufacturing.
Okay, so that sounds fancy.
Which, I mean, it sounds very technical, but what it boils down to is it's making things more precise, less waste.
Oh, that's good.
And it's allowing them to automate certain processes.
So are we talking robots carving wood now?
Essentially, yes. I mean, not robots in the, sci-fi sense, but automated systems that can, like, carve intricate designs with incredible precision.
That's so cool.
And you're right, it's efficient and it saves money, so it's a win-win.
It's like that's got to be a game changer for the industry, right?
It is, and it's not just on the production line either.
Oh, what else?
They're using these sophisticated ERP systems.
Yeah. Now, what is that?
That stands for Enterprise Resource Planning.
Enterprise Resource Planning.
And that's managing everything.
everything.
Inventory, the supply chain stuff we were talking about, financials, even HR.
So it's like, it's a lot. They had this whole other side, like a Silicon Valley company, but it's wood.
It's like a mini Silicon Valley right there in the middle of, a forest somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. That's crazy.
It's really interesting to see how that's all playing out. And the thing is, it's only going to get more advanced.
Right. So if you want to be in this field, you got to be techie too.
You got to be comfortable with the wood. You got to be comfortable with the data, with the digital tools.
So you're not just picking out like the best pieces of lumber. You're looking at spreadsheets.
Spreadsheets, data analysis.
Wow.
All of that.
It really is a blend of like that old and the new in a way.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And, it's not just the tech and the wood.
Right.
You've got people too.
Oh, right. Because RoleCatcher mentioned something about like typical interactions.
Yeah.
Like, who are you talking to all day if you're in this job?
Oh, you're talking to everyone.
Okay.
You're talking to your production supervisors, like constantly making sure everyone's on the same page of the schedules, dealing with any problems.
Right. So lots of problem solving.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And making sure those quality standards we talked about, those are being met.
Okay. Yeah.
Then you're talking to your suppliers, right? Yeah. Negotiating prices because you want the best price for the best wood.
Right. You got to be a good negotiator.
Absolutely.
And you got to stay in the loop on if there are any problems like...
Oh, yeah. Shortages, delays, anything like that. You got to be ahead of it.
Yeah, because if you run out of wood...
Exactly.
That's a problem.
Major problem.
Okay, so we've got the supervisors, the suppliers. Who else?
Customers?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Customers.
Got to make sure the customers are happy.
Right. Right. Understanding what they need. Making sure their orders are fulfilled, and sometimes even like getting their feedback on new product ideas.
So you got to be kind of creative too.
A little bit, yeah.
Wow.
You're the face of the factory in a lot of ways.
You really are.
So you need those people skills, definitely.
Okay, so it's not for someone who just wants to like work with their hands.
No.
They want to be left alone. It's a very social job.
Very much so.
Interesting. So RoleCatcher also talked about like how do you even become this? What's the career path look like?
Right. They had a really nice kind of like step-by-step, and it starts at the entry level, like really getting your hands dirty, literally.
So starting at the ground floor, like most things.
Exactly.
Okay.
You might be a production assistant.
What does that even mean?
Learning how to use the machinery, how to handle the materials safely.
Okay.
Understanding like the basics of woodworking, because you can't manage what you don't understand.
That makes sense. You got to learn the craft.
Exactly. And then as you get more experience, you show that you're capable, you might become a supervisor.
So you're moving up the ranks.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
You're overseeing a small team, managing production schedules, quality control.
More responsibility.
Way more responsibility. And this is where those leadership skills come in.
Right.
Because you're not just responsible for yourself anymore.
Okay.
You've got a team depending on you.
Yeah. And they said problem solving was important.
Oh, crucial.
At that level too.
Crucial, because when you're a supervisor, that's when the unexpected happens.
What? And you got to deal with it.
You're the one who has to figure it out.
Okay.
And all of this experience,
right.
It's building up to that eventual goal of becoming the manager.
Right. The big boss.
The one calling the shots.
Okay.
Making those high-level decisions.
All right. So it's a climb, but it sounds like they lay out a pretty clear path.
They do. And, along the way, you're not just gaining experience, you're developing those really important soft skills.
Oh, like what?
Like communication, because you're talking to all those different people we mentioned.
Right.
Your team, your suppliers, your customers.
Right.
You have to be able to communicate clearly and effectively.
So you're not just a wood expert, you're a people expert too.
That's a good way to put it.
It's interesting.
It's a very well-rounded role, I would say.
Okay, so we've talked about the tasks, the environment, even a bit of the career path.
Right.
But what about the nitty-gritty, the pros and cons of actually being at the top, calling the shots as the wood factory manager?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Like, is this a good gig or what?
RoleCatcher gets into that, so let's dive in.
Let's do it.
So where do we even start with the pros and cons? Like, give me the good stuff first. What are we working towards here? Why would someone want this job?
Well, RoleCatcher's pretty upfront about it. The income potential is pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, that's always nice to hear.
Right. I mean, it's management, so you kind of expect that.
Right, exactly. You've worked your way up. You deserve a little something.
Exactly. A little financial security never hurt anyone.
Never hurt anyone. Exactly. Okay, so good income potential. What else?
There's a lot of room to move up.
Oh, okay. So even from the manager position, there's...
Yeah, like maybe you become the director of I don't know, operations for a whole region.
Okay, so you keep climbing?
You keep climbing. Or maybe you even, branch out on your own.
Oh, start your own whole thing.
Yeah, become an entrepreneur.
Okay, interesting. So lots of possibilities there.
Yeah, and this one might be more personal preference.
Okay.
But you get to work with wood, like, all the time.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a pretty cool material.
It's pretty cool. It's sustainable.
Which is huge these days.
Huge. People are really, like, wanting to build with wood more and more.
It's having a moment.
It's very trendy.
So you're on the cutting edge of that, I guess.
Exactly. And as a manager, you're not just, like, going with the flow. You're making choices about that.
Okay, so really having an impact.
Yeah, like sourcing the wood responsibly.
Right, making sure you're not being wasteful.
Exactly. Minimizing waste, finding new ways to use it.
So it's like you're part of the solution, you're not contributing to the problem, which is nice.
Yeah, it's got to feel good.
Okay, but let's be real. RoleCatcher doesn't shy away from the,
Oh, no.
the tough stuff, too.
There's definitely some downsides.
So hit me with it. What are the downsides of being the big cheese?
Well, the first one they list is
Right.
high level of responsibility, and that comes with pressure.
Yeah, I mean, that comes with the territory, right?
Right. If you're the manager,
You're the boss.
you're responsible for everything.
So if something goes wrong,
It's on you.
it's on you. Okay.
Yeah, you're responsible for the people, making sure everyone's safe.
Oh, right, because it's a factory.
Exactly. It's a
Yeah.
factory. There's heavy machinery.
It's not like an office job.
No, it can be dangerous if you're not careful.
So that's a lot of pressure
It is.
to make sure everyone goes home safe every day. Okay, so safety, big responsibility. What else?
And even when you're not on the factory floor,
Okay.
even in your nice office with the wood samples,
Right.
you got to be constantly learning.
Oh, like, what do you mean, like taking classes?
Well, maybe,
Yeah.
but it's more like technology changes so fast in this field.
Oh, right. We were talking about that.
Yeah. There are always new regulations, and you got to stay on top of it.
So you can't just like learn it once and you're good.
No. You got to be constantly reading up on the latest.
Learning. Okay, that makes sense. It's competitive.
It's very competitive.
Okay, so you got the pressure, the constant learning, anything else?
Oh, yeah, deadlines.
Oh, right, because people are waiting for their wood, right?
Exactly. You've got customers, they've placed orders.
And they want their stuff.
They want their stuff on time.
So you can't be late.
No, you can't. And then sometimes stuff just goes wrong.
Oh, I bet. Like what?
Like a machine breaks down.
Okay. Yeah, that's not good.
Or a shipment of lumber gets delayed.
Right. And then what? It all falls on you to fix it?
Pretty much.
Okay, so you got to be good at like thinking on your feet.
Absolutely. You got to be calm under pressure.
Because everyone else is probably freaking out.
Oh, yeah, they're looking to you for guidance.
So you can't be freaking out too.
Exactly. You got to be the steady hand at the wheel.
Okay, so you're painting it's a mixed bag. It's not all
sunshine and roses.
No, but it's not all like doom and gloom either.
No, there's a lot of like really rewarding aspects to it.
Yeah, and I think what I'm hearing is
Yeah.
it's not just about the wood, it's about understanding like the bigger picture,
Absolutely.
like how global events and all these things connect.
Yeah, like we were saying before, it's all interconnected.
Right, it all ties in, which I guess is why RoleCatcher, they had those, I don't know if you remember those kind of surprising degree subjects that they mentioned.
Yeah.
Like environmental science, that's not the first thing I think of.
No, not for a wood factory, but
But it makes sense when you're talking about sourcing the wood ethically.
exactly, making sure it's sustainable.
So you got to understand the whole life cycle. Like
The whole life cycle, the impact on the environment.
it's a lot more than just like, do you know how to run a saw?
It's the bigger picture.
It's the big picture, yeah, which is kind of cool.
It is kind of cool. It's like you're
Yeah.
managing a factory, but you're also kind of like a steward of the environment in a way.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And, speaking of the environment and sustainability, there are some really cool things happening in the industry right now.
Okay, like what? Give me some examples.
Well, they're developing all these new wood-based materials
Okay.
that are even more sustainable and versatile than like traditional lumber.
Okay, so beyond just like 2x4s and plywood,
Exactly. Like, have you heard of cross-laminated timber?
cross-laminated.
So it's basically, they take these layers of wood and they glue them together, but they alternate the grain direction. And it makes it incredibly strong. Like, you can build really tall buildings out of it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it's way better for the environment than concrete or steel.
So we could be looking at a future where like cities are made of wood.
It's possible. It's definitely a growing trend.
That's really interesting.
And then there's like bio-based materials.
What is that?
So that's where they're using like wood pulp and other plant fibers to make all kinds of stuff,
Like what?
like clothing, packaging, even bioplastics and biofuels.
So it's not even just about building anymore.
No, it's everything.
Like wood is the future, it's renewable.
It's the ultimate renewable resource, and they're finding all these new and amazing ways to use it.
That's really exciting.
It is.
It's like, it seemed like such a traditional field at first.
Oh, yeah, all right.
But there's so much innovation happening.
So much potential.
It's pretty cool.
It is cool. It's like
Yeah.
you get to be a part of something that's like really making a difference.
Yeah, and I think that's something we've seen throughout this whole deep dive.
So, like we started with just like, what does a wood factory manager do?
Right.
But it's so much bigger than that.
It's about the bigger picture.
It's about sustainability. It's about technology.
The future of, like, how we live and build.
Right, exactly. It's fascinating.
It's way more than I thought it would be.
Me too, me too.
Yeah.
Okay, so for someone listening who's like, all right, this sounds cool, I'm interested, how do I actually get the job?
Okay, well, RoleCatcher has some good advice on that, too.
Okay, lay it on me.
So, obviously, you need a good resume.
Okay,
You
check.
got to nail that interview.
Of course, practically those answers.
But they also recommend something that I thought was really smart,
Okay.
putting together a portfolio.
A portfolio, like you're an artist.
Kind of, but instead of paintings or sculptures, you're showcasing successful wood factory projects you've worked on.
Oh, that's a great idea. So you're not just saying, I'm good at this.
You're showing them.
You're showing them, yeah.
Exactly.
Like, here are the results I've gotten. Exactly. And they don't really specify what form it should take.
So you could get creative.
Oh, yeah. It could be a website, a physical presentation,
Okay.
even like a video tour of a factory you helped optimize.
That's a cool idea.
Right. It's a chance to stand out.
Stand out from the crowd.
Exactly.
Okay. Portfolio. What else?
Networking.
Networking. Ugh, that word.
I know it sounds kind of like slimy,
What the-
but it doesn't have to be.
Okay.
It's really just about like meeting people who are in the same field as you.
Talking to people, making connections.
Exactly. And in this industry, it's so important
Why is that?
because it's all about like collaboration, knowledge sharing.
Okay.
People are always willing to help each other out, give advice.
So it's not as cutthroat as it might seem.
No, not at all. It's more like a community.
That's nice. So how do you even network in this field? Like, where do you go?
RoleCatcher recommends joining some professional associations,
Okay.
going to trade shows,
Makes sense.
and even like online forums and communities.
Oh, okay. So there are places online where,
Okay, lots of them.
where wood people gather.
Wood people, exactly.
That's funny. Okay, so
And the great thing about that is
Yeah.
you can connect with people from all over the place.
so you're not just limited to like whoever's in your town.
Exactly. You can learn from people who are doing really cool things all over the world.
Okay, so networking, it's about building those relationships.
Exactly.
Maybe learning something new, finding out about opportunities.
Exactly. You never know who you're going to meet.
Or what might happen.
Exactly. That's the exciting part.
It really is like the people you meet can open up all these doors.
All for you.
You wouldn't even know about.
And sometimes it's not even like a specific job. It's just like you learn a new way to do something.
Right, right.
Or you get inspired by what someone else is doing.
Exactly, exactly. So, yeah, I think that's something. It's kind of a recurring theme, I guess. Like networking, it's always more than it seems.
Yeah, it's not just about like passing out business cards at a boring conference.
No.
It's about building real relationships.
Right, right. It's about the human connection ultimately.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which I guess brings us back to like the heart of this whole deep dive.
Which is
Wood.
wood. Yeah, it's funny because we started with like,
Sawdust and safety goggles.
right, but it's so much more than that.
It's way more than that.
It's a whole world, like this whole industry.
And it's changing so fast.
That's true. So much innovation, so much.
Yeah. It's exciting to see where it's going to go.
It is exciting, and I think, we just scratched the surface here.
Yeah, for sure.
But hopefully this gave everyone listening a good
overview.
Yeah, a taste of
A little taste.
what it takes to be a wood factory manager and also just like what's happening in that whole field.
Exactly. And if you're really interested, definitely go check out RoleCatcher's career library.
Yes, they have so much more information.
Tons of details. We couldn't even get to it all.
No, not even close.
But yeah, it's fascinating stuff.
So on that note, we'll wrap things up. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into
The wild world of wood.
the wild world of wood, exactly. And until next time, stay curious out there.